Welcome. Today we are looking at SCoPEx, a project often associated with Bill Gates. If you find this science update valuable, please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Let's dive in. First, it is important to clarify a common misconception. SCoPEx was never a project to control the weather. It is not about turning rain on or off or steering storms. Instead, it is a focused study on solar geoengineering. The goal was to understand the microphysics of stratospheric aerosols to determine if they could safely scatter a tiny fraction of sunlight to cool the planet. Scientific research like this aims to provide data to help the world understand potential climate solutions, not to manipulate local weather patterns. The core objective was to study how small, non-toxic particles of calcium carbonate, or chalk dust, behave in the upper atmosphere. By releasing these particles into the stratosphere, researchers aimed to measure their ability to scatter incoming sunlight back into space. The ultimate scientific intent was to determine if this mechanism could be an effective method to counteract rising global temperatures. In 2021, the SCoPEx project reached a critical turning point in Kiruna, Sweden. A test flight was planned to study aerosol dispersion in the stratosphere. However, the project faced intense opposition. Indigenous Sami populations and environmental groups voiced strong concerns regarding the ethics and potential risks of the experiment. The resulting pressure led to the cancellation of the flight. This incident became a defining moment in the global debate over who has the right to manage our planet's atmosphere. SCoPEx gained significant public attention, not just for its science, but for its funding. While research is usually driven by academic grants, this project saw substantial support from private philanthropists, including Bill Gates. This unusual funding model sparked intense debate. Critics questioned whether private wealth could grant individuals disproportionate influence over the planetary thermostat, raising ethical concerns about the governance of global climate research. As of July 2026, the SCoPEx project has officially transitioned into a dormant or legacy phase. The Harvard-led team has determined that field testing is no longer on the agenda, shifting focus away from atmospheric experiments. Given the logistical and political challenges of open-air testing, the scientific community has pivoted its focus. The strategy now favors high-fidelity computer simulations and closed-chamber laboratory experiments. This removes environmental risks while maintaining rigorous data collection. By moving indoors, scientists study particle physics without impacting the atmosphere directly, offering a safer path for climate research. With the halt of field experiments, the spotlight has turned to international governance. The primary challenge is creating a framework that prevents unilateral, high-stakes climate interventions by individual nations. The United Nations and other international bodies are now tasked with setting rules for Earth's shared thermostat. Effective regulation is essential to ensure that any future climate management is safe, transparent, and globally agreed upon. Critics of solar geoengineering often point to a concept called moral hazard. They argue that if we believe we have a technological emergency brake to cool the planet, we might lose our motivation to tackle the core problem: greenhouse gas emissions. The risk is that reliance on a fix could allow governments and corporations to continue business as usual, indefinitely delaying the hard work of transitioning away from fossil fuels. Essentially, a geoengineering project like SCoPEx might provide temporary relief, but it could dangerously distract us from the necessary long-term goal of total decarbonization. The 1.5 degrees Celsius warming limit represents a critical threshold for the planet. As we approach this mark, extreme weather events become significantly more frequent and severe. Proponents of solar geoengineering argue that in this urgent context, we need every tool available. They view technologies like stratospheric aerosol injection as an emergency brake. This break would theoretically allow us to dampen the effects of extreme heat waves and buy precious time to transition our global economy away from carbon-intensive fuels. However, relying on this break comes with its own complex set of risks that we must carefully weigh against the danger of the heat itself. Though the physical field tests of the SCoPEx project came to an end, the project's intellectual legacy remains significant. The data gathered from balloon designs and detailed atmospheric simulations continue to serve as a critical foundation for modern climate science research. These findings are now essential resources, helping researchers and policymakers understand the risks and potential of solar geoengineering as we look toward the future. Groups like the Climate Overshoot Commission now lead the critical dialogue on climate governance. They serve as a bridge, transforming complex climate data into actionable, transparent global policy. By pushing for a measured, global approach, the Commission helps navigate the risks of high-stakes interventions, ensuring that no single nation acts without international scrutiny. Their work is essential for moving from theoretical climate modeling toward a structured, ethical framework for the planet's future. The core question remains: who gets to control the Earth's thermostat? SCoPEx forced the world to finally face this question at a global, legislative level. It involves governments, international institutions, scientists, and the public. Without a clear consensus, unilateral action risks catastrophic consequences for global weather patterns and diplomatic relations. While the SCoPEx project has reached its conclusion, the global conversation it ignited is only beginning. Understanding these technological tools is vital for our future, and we appreciate you joining us for this deep dive into climate technology. If you found this breakdown of the SCoPEx project and the broader debate on solar geoengineering helpful, please hit that like button, share this video with your science-interested friends, and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the technologies shaping our planet's future.